Hi, so welcome today to the business walkthrough, and today we're going to talk about how to get predictable, repeatable revenue with your business. So without further ado, a little bit about format for today is that we're going to start with introduction, then the plan, the execution, the metrics, observing all of the above, and forging the path to regular revenue, and why this is an easy an opportunity to book a one-to-one to go deeper. So a bit about myself. My name is Sai Siddiqui. I'm from London, UK. I'm based at Google Campus London. I'm one of the top 10 entrepreneurs in Genius U, and I focus on helping entrepreneurs implement the exact steps required to 10x their business or their business idea. Now, the first thing to focus on when you're trying to produce repeatable income is the plan. And the plan is effectively a promotion plan, which is focused on the time period of a quarter, 12 weeks, and what you're trying to achieve in terms of figures for those 12 weeks. This document isn't like a static document. It's a document you're always going to go back to, and you're going to be adjusting and learning and tweaking as you have your learnings and as you progress. Now, let's look at a promotion plan structure. This is a promotion plan used by Entrepreneur Institute. As you can see, the first page talks about the actual summary of what's expected, what you want to achieve, and what products you're going to be dealing with. The second page talks about avatars. These are your ideal clients that you're looking for. The third slide talks about the problem. You have to have a very, very clear differentiation between what's the problem that you're trying to solve and what's the solution. Many times people aren't very clear on what exact problem for their exact avatar they're trying to sort of deal with. So you need to work out your ideal clients, typically three. One which is like an economy client, one which is like a business level client, one which is like a sort of high-end client. And you need to work out what's the actual problem that they're facing, which keeps them up at night and which they are eager to act to solve. And that's what your focus is going to be. It can't be too generic. It's got to be specific. It can't just be any old problem. It's got to be a problem that they feel strongly about enough to pay to solve. Then your solution has to solve that problem. Sometimes people aren't clear on problem. Sometimes they're clear on problem, but their solution doesn't actually solve that problem. So it's very important that the solution that you are providing is able to solve the problem that you've highlighted for your ideal customers. After that, you need to outline your compelling offer, which is the way you are going to do it. How are you going to actually implement this solution for your ideal customer in a way that will solve the problem? Then you need to write down a team that's going to help you do this, your financial objectives. So you need to work out, for example, if you're selling a course for $2,000 and you want to make $10,000 by the end of the quarter, then that means over 12 weeks, you need to sell 5 courses. Or let's say you want to make $10,000 per month. That means per month, you need to sell 5 courses. And for the quarter, you need to sell 15 courses. So you need to work this all out. How much you sell, that becomes your target. So you need to make, for example, if it's 10,000, well, let's say 10,000 per month, you need to make 5 sales per month. It's a critical figure. The other element is your development objectives. What are you going to learn while you execute this? And what are you going to learn as a business? How is your business going to develop? And what are your objectives in terms of learning yourself? What are the learnings you're hoping to improve on as you go through? Finally, these are your marketing pathways. So for example, here in the pathway, you can have Facebook, Instagram, Genius U, Google ads, Facebook ads, stuff like that. You'd have here as your pathways. And you want to lead, all those pathways should lead to some sort of platform. That platform could be a landing page, which then leads to a telephone consultation. It could be a product page. It could be a physical product page. All these pathways have to lead to a place where you are, where your customers can then see your products. So it's marketing channels, lead to a platform, be it a website, be it an e-commerce store, be it an event, which from that event, you will then promote your products. Could be 3 products or 1 product. This side over here is just a repeat of this side because there's multiple products involved here. And finally is your milestones. So you need to plan out what you want to achieve for each month. For the month, in this case, for the month of March, April, and then May, and then June. And a milestone isn't a set of tasks. This is critical. A milestone is that by the end of September, for example, these things have to be achieved. Now, to achieve each of these things may require a whole bunch of tasks. We're not focused on that here. What we're focused on here is that this is the end milestone that needs to be achieved. And so therefore, your focus has to be on that. So that's the promotion plan in summary. So this is the plan where you've got your ideal customers outlined. You've got the problem that you're trying to solve outlined. You've got your solution outlined. You've got your compelling offer worked out, how you're going to deliver the solution. You've got your team put together. You've got your financial objectives, what you're trying to achieve in the next 3 months. You've got your development objectives, what you're going to be learning for your business and what you're going to be learning for yourself. You've got your marketing pathways that you're going to be using. And you've got your sort of milestones that you're going to achieve over the next 3 to 4 months. This is your plan. Now, many people will have this plan in place and can do this plan, but that's just not enough. That's like just the first start of it. And it's the next part where sometimes many people fall down. So moving on to the next part. Execution. Execution is all about rhythm. Sorry. Rhythm is that once you've got a plan, you need to work out you need to set a certain amount of time that you're going to dedicate to execute the plan. Now, with entrepreneurs, it's very, very easy to think you're executing on a plan, but actually you're getting distracted. So let me elaborate. For example, if one of your marketing channels is to send Facebook messages to some of your previous clients, unless you've got 200 previous clients, and your plan is to send 10 messages a day. That is something that is connected to making sales. So you need to execute that. So every day, that is something that is linked. So you would have to send 10 direct messages to your previous clients every single day for the quarter. That is something that is linked to your plan. And you have to make sure that that rhythm is established, that without fail, every working day, 10 messages go out to 10 new bunches of clients. Now, what can happen typically is that people aren't executing a regular rhythm. What they're doing is they do 10 one day, then they miss out a few days, then do 10 other day, and so on. And also what happens is they might be checking emails, might be going to conferences, might be going around just, talking to people generally. And none of these actions have necessarily proven to create even one sale, yet you can be wasting a lot of time on that and thinking that, yes, I'm basically executing. The key critical thing here is once you've outlined your 5 marketing channels in the promotion plan, the execution is focused on regularly executing on those marketing channels. That's where your focus is going to be. As long as you're doing something to do with those marketing channels, ideally every day or every week, and you can measure the impact of what you're doing with those channels, that's execution, that's moving forward. Regularity it's critical to know what's important and what's not important in this endeavor. So for example, when you're trying to work out steady income, the best example is an example of a famous Olympic rower. I can't remember his name, but basically what happened was that this rower would always say that regarding his boat, he would say there's 2 things. One boat maintains my speed and another boat makes me go faster. And he'd always ask the question that I always focus on what makes me go faster. And it's the same thing with entrepreneurs. There's many things that you can be doing, which you're executing on, which you think are making yourself go faster, but actually they're just maintaining the situation as it is. So for example, if you're doing your course, if you're doing like an alt course, for example, or if you're doing that, then you're just maintaining your current company. You're not making it go faster. If you're checking emails, you're maintaining your company. You're not making it go faster. If you're doing your accounts, you're maintaining your company. You're not making it go faster. What's making your company go faster is engaging in those marketing channels, and then looking at what's converting, and then adjusting your path, and then making your new content or your new marketing is based upon what you've learned from the last day or the last week. That's all about making your boat go faster. Another critical thing about that is, one is your focus. So the focus is on making you go faster, and that's focused on your marketing channels I mentioned before, and making sure that you're doing something regarding them on a regular basis. And regularity is critical. As a famous story of Scott, and Scott was racing against another team, which is a Norwegian team. And what happened was the Norwegian team, they were the ones that sort of made it back. And obviously Scott was famous for not making it back. And the difference between the two teams, one of the fundamental differences between the two teams was that when Scott was trying to make his way, whenever the weather was good, he would max it out. And whenever the weather was bad, he would then sort of bunk down and sort of, hold out and not make any movement because the weather was bad. The Norwegian team, on the other hand, they had a rhythm. Every day had a set amount of hours that they would dedicate to moving forward. So when the weather was good, they would do the same number of hours. And when the weather was bad, they would also do the same number of hours. And they were the ones that beat Scott and made it to the pole first. So it's a critical learning for us too from this example, is that it's not about, and many of us can be guilty of this. We have days when we really do a lot and we're just there for hours and hours and we think we've done a lot of good and we've executed well. And there's days upon days or certain days we're not doing anything, or we didn't execute anything at all. And this will not be the best way to achieve it. What you need to do, even if it's an hour a day, you need to make sure that hour is solely dedicated to your marketing channels, and you've got regular things you do in that hour. So for example, that hour could be, I'm going to do X amount of posts, I'm going to do X amount of direct messages, and so on. And you know that every day, without fail, that will get done. That is what will get you and will help you to actually move forward in the correct way. Moving on to the next topic. Metrics. Metrics are critical in that now that you've got a plan and you're doing regular action every day, specifically on the marketing channels and moving forward, you need to measure what's happening. If you did a Facebook post, how many likes were there as a result of that post? How many followers were there as a result of that post? How many comments were there as a result of that post? What kind of comments were there? Did people like it? And so on. And then on that learning, you need to then adjust your next Facebook post and so on. And same for direct messages. If you did a certain style of message, you did 100 of those messages, what was the response like? Also, you need to also make sure you're not changing things too quickly. So for example, with Facebook ads, you do a Facebook ad, it doesn't respond. There's a certain number of impressions you need to have before you can say that, okay, I've given it a statistically significant attempt. Same for direct messaging. Same for any channel that you're using. You need to think and see, what is the statistically significant amount of efforts or responses I have to make in this particular style before I should change it and think, that kind of style of ad isn't working, I need to change it. You need to know those figures. So let me give an example of how metrics look, because I think many times people may have a plan, people may be executing, and sometimes they're executing haphazardly, but they've got to execute with rhythm, as mentioned. But if you're just executing, you're not measuring, then it becomes like you've got no way of working out whether you're getting closer to whether the actions you are taking result in a sale. Because out of those 5 channels you're engaging in, there may be 2 channels that result in sales, 2 that have some sales, and 1 that doesn't do anything at all. And you need to know that. You need to know that, okay, Facebook ads gave me 2 sales, and this many people had interviews, this many people, discussion with this many people, or this many people came to my site, and out of them, 10% converted. With my posts, I did 20 posts, and from those 20 posts, I got 15 followers, and I got 2 likes, and so on. You need to know these metrics, so that way you can then see, okay, right, Facebook ads resulted in 2 sales, Facebook posts resulted in 1 sale, and BNI, whatever other avenue, resulted in 3 sales. Then you'll know that, okay, if I do BNI every month, I know that will result in 3 sales. If I engage on this level, if I do this many posts, I know it will result in this many sales. That's the way you begin to work out that which ones of your marketing channels are resulting in regular kind of income. And you can then know that, you can then measure and say, right, if I do this much activity every month, it will result in this much revenue. Let me give an example of how metrics look. Here's an example of metrics to do with Genius U, or to do with like, yeah, Genius U, for example, right? So here you do a post. You'll see how many followers you've got. You'll see how many new subscribers you've got, how many new GU members you've got. You'll have a target of how many you're expecting, and then you'll have an actual of how many people came through. And also you'll have how many people bought, and rookies, how many people bought once, how many people bought multiple times, how many are loyal fans. You have your online sales metrics. This is how you would set it up for your website and for different things. That's how it works. But these figures, you know, these are sort of there, right? So anyway, that's that. How about in terms of, these are like your overall metrics of what's happening. Another example of specific metrics is like this. This is, let's say, for example, if I want to target, let's say 2 clients, and to do 2 clients, the number of sales calls I would need is 20 sales calls. But the number of engagements I would need, engagements is actual discussion, is 67. And to get 67 discussions, the number of direct outreach messages I'll need is 333, which would mean that I would have to, over a period of 20 days in a month, I would have to send, I'd have to send 20 messages every day. So that figure is critical. If I'm doing direct messaging to old clients or whatever, I have to send 20 messages to previous clients every day. And then I know that if I send 20 messages, then from those 20 messages, which is, you know, X amount over a month, I'm going to have 67 engagements. And from that, 20 sales. And then from that, I will hit my target, 20 sales discussions. And from those 20 sales calls, I'll then have 2 conversions where basically people will buy. This is the kind of structure that you need for each one of your marketing channels. And initially, you may not have these metrics. Obviously, if you work with me, then I can give you these metrics, that kind of stuff. That's not a problem, right? But the point is that now will accelerate you, because you'll know exactly how many things you've got to do to get this kind of result. So for each of your channels, you need to have these kind of metrics, so you've got an idea, or if not this, then at least this, so you can actually begin to establish these kind of metrics by doing this again and again and again. And then what you'll have is you'll have a clear idea that, okay, every month I've got to engage in 20 direct messages a day to make 2 sales. Now, if you want to make 4 sales, you know that, okay, if I want to double that, I've got to double the number of direct messages by Facebook messages to old clients or new clients I'm going to make every day to 40. So that way you've got predictability now. You know exactly, rhythmically, every day what you have to engage in to achieve the goal. This is what I mean when I'm talking about metrics and their importance. Moving on, the need for a mentor. So as you can see, this isn't easy. It's really easy to get distracted and start chasing the latest shiny object. For example, you'll engage in this process, and remember, it's a quarter, right? So you're going to be getting bombarded with Facebook ad courses and, you know, this course and that course, and you're going to think, oh, you know what? I'm doing Facebook ads to the channel. I'm going to go and do it now. I'm going to go and spend the next 6 weeks learning about Facebook ads. So effectively, you're going to spend a lot of time learning, then another 6 weeks trying to engage in it, and you may not have done it before. There'll be a massive learning curve, and you may not have the initial success. It takes time to, you know, if you haven't got anybody who's got knowledge of it, then it'll take time for you to actually get to the point. And so you would waste a lot of time on that. Another example, if you're trying to do direct messages, if you don't have any previous successful message structures, then you're going to be starting with 0 message structures, and you'll be trying to make them up as you go, and trying to, you know, sort of reinvent the wheel with that. And the other thing also is, if you then go into another course, you'll get distracted in that course as well. Another course on messaging, another course for Google ads, and so on and so forth. So what happens is that people get distracted by the latest shiny object. Then what can happen is, because you spend so much time learning and there's been no actual financial result which you've set for yourself, at the end of 2 months, 3 months, you feel like, I'm not getting anywhere, this is all a mess and it's not working, and so on. The reason it's not working is because instead of actually doing the particular action for your marketing channel, what's happening is that people get distracted into courses and learnings to try to learn about the marketing channel instead of actually doing the marketing channel. And that's where the problems rise. So that's why it's really helpful to have a mentor who knows how to execute on this. That way you don't have to waste time on courses The other problem is there's multiple courses, there's different levels of quality, and you don't necessarily know which ones are going to produce the result and which ones are like, just bogus courses that have been done by first timers and all the rest of it. So therefore, it's critical that it's really, really critical that when you have a mentor, he's getting you not to just sit there on courses, but he's actually, that's nothing to worry about. What he can help you do is actually get the rubber to the road effectively and start moving with it. Another thing is if you can feel like you're not progressing, that's another problem. If you're out there on your own and you're doing things, you may not have a clear idea whether an action that you took has given you a result which will move you closer to your financial figure. And that's another critical factor. You need to have, if you've got a mentor who's already done a lot of these marketing channels and he knows the kind of things to expect when you're starting from zero, the kind of things to expect when you're starting from a certain number of followers and so on and so forth, then you have that, then you have that guide and you know that you're making progress in the right direction. The difficulty with this whole endeavor to get to regular income is that you can go in multiple directions and you can go round and round in circles. And that's why it's critical to have somebody there to tell you which path is the path which is productive and making progress, as opposed to which paths which seem like they're making progress, but they're not. That brings my second point. It's important to have someone who's trodden the path and gives insight to that, which helps a lot. And also accountability. When you are getting distracted or you're chasing the latest shiny object 3 months, 4 weeks in, or you feel like you're not making progress, it's really important to have a mentor who's going to say, well, hold on, you're not making progress, but how's your rhythm? How's your execution this week or these last 3 weeks? Were you executing on the channels or were you actually getting diverted? Okay, let's look at your metrics. How are your metrics? And so on and so forth. Okay, let's see what kind of posts. Are you just doing the same post again and again and again and getting no results? It's really, really valuable to have somebody who's sitting outside your sort of environment and your day-to-day action can sort of correct your path when you're wasting time on a regular basis. So I hope this sort of gives you a good insight as to what's required and gives you a good framework to work with. If you'd like to have a look at your business in more detail, then you can always book a free 45-minute consultation with myself by going to geniusu.as.me and we can just go through it in more detail. But just to come back to the beginning of this and so you can have an idea about it, and just to summarize before we close, the critical factor, as you can see, is the plan, the execution, the metrics. And we went through the promotion plan, we went through what we mean by execution, and the example of the rower and the example of the sort of Norwegian team versus Scott, the issue of executing on things that make you move forward as opposed to things that keep you where you are, and also executing in terms of regularity and rhythm. You also gave an idea about the metrics, how each marketing channel, once you execute, you need to measure. You need to see how many sales are coming through each of your channels, so that way you'll know that these channels make sales, these ones don't. And also, once you get to know that, you can also know that, okay, if I do this many posts or this many ads or this kind of ad with this much ad spend, then it will result in this many sales. You need to establish those. And you know, once you've done that, you know, and it takes time to establish them. You can't establish them immediately. And like I mentioned, it's very easy to get distracted. And it's very easy to get lost in just get lost in details which aren't relevant, or go off and trying to train yourself and wasting months and weeks and then not learning how to execute it properly. And that's why having a mentor is really, really, really useful, if not essential, to be able to differentiate the forest from the trees and to be able to make the path happen. Once you get this down and once you have this, and all of this is straightforward, it's in the sense that it can be done, but you need help to help. I would recommend you need help to get this done, to be able to achieve it. But even if you want to do it on your own, I hope I've outlined everything and you can see that what needs to be done, and again, it gives you an overview of what's required. And all the best. I hope it all goes well for you. And if, like I said, if you want to get in touch, feel free. I've left a link in the previous slide. Just go back a few steps, you'll find it. And love to have a chat, see how you're doing. And until next time, take care.